welcome back to Mr. and Mrs. Stang YouTube channel. I'm Julia.
And I'm Bobby.
Today we're going to do a review on my car, which is a 2016 Mustang GT Premium Package.
It's right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's pretty nice. Before we start the review on the 2016 Mustang, we want to give you a little bit of history on the Mustang. The Mustang was the original first pony car that was ever created, actually. So that's a pretty cool fact. It wasn't the first muscle car, but it was the first official pony car.
Alright, so although this is a 2016 model, a lot of the components are actually really similar to later models like the 18, 19, and 20 version of the Ford Mustang. So when we talk about the body style, the interior, and the motor, well actually not really the motor, they kind of up the horsepower on the later model, so yeah. I was kind of gypped a little bit, but that's okay because there are mods that you can do to increase the horsepower. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're just going to give you guys a lot of information about the 16 model and compare it to earlier models like the 12, 13, 14, 15 Mustang, and just let you know what's good.
Mustang was originally a not so fast muscle car. Actually.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a muscle car, though. It was a pony car in the 64.
Pony car.
It was originally made, someone's wife wanted a faster car. Actually, not faster car, just a nice, sporty-looking car.
Yeah.
That is why they made the Mustang, to target women, wives, and to have a nice-looking sports car.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people thought it was underpowered, unfortunately, which it was. You know, we actually did a video on a 67 Mustang where we went to go look at. It was a 3-speed manual. That car was so slow.
So one of the really great things about Ford and the Mustang in general is that it was created to be an affordable family car from the get-go when they originally came out in the 1964 and a half versions of the Stang. I walk and I like step forward a lot when I talk, and Bobby doesn't like it because it messes up when he's editing the video.
There's a mark
There's
under
a leaf
here.
right here that you guys don't see.
Yes, it's meant for focus reasons. And I set the
I can't
frame
help it. I move a lot.
Stop moving.
A perk about the Mustangs is that they're actually pretty affordable. Sorry, that was a big pause. I was going to say a few different words, but affordable.
Soak it in. They're affordable.
They're affordable. Another great thing about the Mustang is that their value does not depreciate a lot, and you can get a certified used one that is still in really great condition, but most people who have Mustangs take care of their Mustangs. So if you're looking to get one, maybe if it's certified used or you're buying it off a previous seller, they're usually in decent condition and you can get one for a good price. And if you're looking to put some modifications into the engine or the body style or in the interior, whatever you think you're doing, you're gonna be pretty set to go. So today we're just gonna go over the 16 body style, what I personally love about my car. Bobby likes too. He is a 2012 though, so we'll review his another day and give you guys all the deets about that. I've already had a 2012, so...
Yeah, she's past it now.
I am. I upgraded a little, but I still miss my old car. So when Ford came out with this body style in 2015, I really was not into it. I really, straight up, I hated it.
Yeah.
Now, my opinion obviously has completely changed because I own a 2016 and I am in love with it.
It grows on you.
I just see him in the corner. So what they did with the 15 model and the 16, and now current till 2020, because they've continued on with this body style, they made it much sleeker, honestly much more modern looking.
Yeah. But
they still were able to achieve a very muscular tone, especially with, I mean, I'm not going to turn around and show you guys everything right now. We'll do nice little clips for you throughout the video, but the lines that they designed on the car, and there's just so many details, like the functional hood vents that are only on the 16 model actually, where they have the turning signals in the hood vents. That was similar to the 1960 models of Mustang. So when they brought that back, I was super happy. I actually didn't know it was only on the 16 model, but that's a perk.
But once you really get into detail with it and you really break it down, you really, start to look at it, you gotta look at it. So when you look at the Mustang, you know, it's not going to look like a normal muscle car to you. It's going to be very modern-like.
Yeah.
But they have very little, you know, body parts or designs that throw it back to the original Mustang. Like the headlights have these 3 little gill-like channels, just like the 64s used to have. The taillights kind of look more of like a 70 Mustang.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they have that classic 3-bar look. So you definitely have a lot of little nicks and crannies of a classic muscle car would have. You know, there's also a nice line right above the rear fenders that has that classic little muscle car hump.
What do you call it?
I call it the hips of the
He calls
car.
it the hips. He looks at it in the side mirrors.
All the
And
time.
I'm like, what are you looking at while we're driving? He's like, I'm looking at the hips. I'm
Hopefully,
like, okay.
you know, there's like little things in the car, like the dash brings it back to the like normal 60 Mustangs. They also have this little badge on there since 1964, it says, which is nice. You know, sometimes it's the little things that really matter.
It's
in
always
the car.
the little things.
One other little thing you'll notice from like all the original, like the first 5.0 motor, it is always on the side in the front fenders. You know, they have it on this one too, so it's a really nice touch.
Alright, hold on. I just gotta take a breather. I'm gonna be okay. Babe, you know, you gotta give me a second, okay? So another thing that's different about this body style, similar to the 15 and now current up to 20 model of the Mustang, takes a little nice curved nosedive down. And it's a lot easier to see,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's like a little detail is a major difference in terms of driving, so
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
But it kind of feels like there's less ponies under the hood with a smaller hood, you know. So one of the things that you notice on this car is it has a nice little pokey side skirt and also a nice front sharp splitter in the front, which could look like a performance aftermarket part, but it comes stock on the car, so it's super nice to have. All of them come with dual exhausts, which some of the older ones did not, so that's nice to have. I hate single exhausts, actually.
Yeah, no,
So
not my thing.
that's a big perk. The car just really has, you know, a nice sleek look to it with an oomph of muscle car to it. But when you drive it, it's a whole different story.
Totally. So in terms of visibility when driving the car, this model is actually way better than my 2012. I feel like I can see out of the side windows, sorry guys, way better. And we actually installed a louver from MP Concepts, which you can watch in another video. We'll post it below for you guys. And the visibility is still just as fine. Like, this is my first time with a rear window louver, and I love it. So watch our install video on that. But otherwise, I mean, the visibility, while it's a wider car, it feels totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the louvers look sick, and you can still see perfectly fine.
Yeah. So the S550 platform is completely different than the S197. The interior of this Mustang, I have the premium package, but it honestly feels like a luxury car when you get inside. The first time I sat in the driver's seat, I was totally blown away, especially coming from the S197 model. Like,
Yeah. Everything on the old models is plastic and, you know, gross and just not well put together. Honestly, like my door panels on the S197, like I've had to glue my leather back on the door panel there. Anyone that owns an S197 and has been in this car can completely understand what I'm saying.
in my old Mustang, I had it for, 3 years, and at like the 3-year mark, there was a rattling in the sound system, and I brought it to a shop, and I even brought it back to Ford, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And nobody could figure out what was happening. And it was pissing me off because I like to drive with loud music. I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't? But
And if you baby the car, you don't want to hear any kind of
No.
weird sounds coming out of it.
exactly.
Us car people are going to be like, oh, what the is that?
It was all
You know?
Ford uses the Sync technology system, okay? It is not my favorite, I'll say that.
It doesn't sync that well.
I love him. I've had some issues even back to my 2012 Mustang with the Sync system. It's really glitchy. It drops off my Bluetooth connection all the time, so I'll be listening to music 1 minute and then the next minute I'm not, just because it decides to drop me. So it's very frustrating. I mean, I don't want to sound like a little spoiled saying that, but I mean, it's annoying. You know, it's now 2020. It's just annoying. So it's not my favorite. That's probably the only negative thing I will say about this car.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna daily drive the car like us, it's something to look out for. But you know, once you have an exhaust on there, you know, that's really what you want to listen to. Yeah, but even though if you have a shaker audio system, it does knock really nice. So
it sounds great.
Yeah.
The actual audio system sounds amazing. But so while the 13 and 14 Mustang actually did have the track apps, this model also has 4 different driving modes that you can select, which is a really nice perk. And most importantly, it has a snow and wet road driving selection. And we live in the Northeast, so that's a really important thing to have. And I'm the sole driver of the car. So when it's winter, I know that I can just flip it into wet or snow mode if there's snow or any rain, honestly, and the tires do perform so much better than if it's not in that mode. So that's a really good perk.
Yeah, and it's super cool. It's really easy to use. It's all right by your shifter in the front there. Yeah. It actually has a cool airplane-like switches on it, which is kind of neat. You have a little bit more trunk space too than in the old S197 models. You can really feel it because of how much wider the car is. The seats do fold down. So if you do want to go on a road trip or anything like that, you know, for 2 people, it's perfect. We did a road trip down to South Carolina. It was about like 13 hours.
Yeah.
And also, the gas in the car was not as bad as you think it is for a V8. Yeah. You know, we only had to stop 3
times to go over 800 miles. Yeah. We were really proud.
So one thing about the interior of the car is they did not have these on the last models. They have paddle shifters. The whole Shiftronic system looks way better, and it works better. Shifts way better too. It also, like the old shifters on the S197 cars just looked terrible in my opinion. These ones actually look kind of more of a retro, like normal shifting knob. So that's kind of nice to have. Not that a lot of people will probably use this perk, but it's kind of cool to have. The Mustang, this premium package will come with presets to adjust your doors. So if you have multiple people driving the car that's short or tall, you know, you can set it to the way you like it, and you can just drive off and go.
Yep.
So now we're going to break down the performance of the car, the stuff that really matters.
Drum roll. My baby has a 3rd generation Coyote motor with 435 horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque.
And those numbers are obviously at the crank, not at the wheels, but not bad for a stock car.
Yes. It goes 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, so it's pretty mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it'll put you back in your seat for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of car.
A lot of car.
A lot of ponies under the hood.
Oh yeah. So compared to the 2012 Mustangs with 412 horsepower and the 18s with 460 horsepower, the 16 is like right in the middle at 435. And with different modifications to the engine, you can really up the horsepower. But
easily.
Yeah. So it's really not that big of a problem compared to the later versions of the Mustang.
Power is not everything. It's how the car is built. It's also how much the car weighs. About 3,825 pounds. So it's not extremely light, but it's not extremely heavy. Obviously, it weighs a little bit more with the V8. You know, the 4 cylinders will be about like 400 pounds lighter. But who wants a 4-cylinder?
So the chassis of the S550s is actually totally different than the S197s. The car handles completely differently. The suspension is totally different. It actually handles more like an M3 now. So it can really take on turns, which is really nice. Yeah,
no, the car handles great. It doesn't have that live axle like the old S197s had.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, whenever you would hit a bump, both wheels would hop around, and honestly, the car that car can handle decently, but it just feels like a crazy car. You know, this thing is way tighter. The steering is so tight on it. There's no slop in the wheel. You know, it just feels like a more well put together car, which it is. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. This thing could definitely keep up with an M4 and M3.
Yeah.
And that car is about, what, double the price of that? Not only is the handling better, but also the braking system's way better on the Mustang GT. Premium package, because the premium package has bigger brakes in the front, which is a nice perk to have. So the car will stop 60 to 0 in about 109 feet. So that's not bad. Braking system's way better in this car than the last ones as well.
Yeah, it's very, very responsive.
Yeah. So yeah, not only is the performance great, the car is pretty easy to do work on, honestly. If you don't know too much, car mechanic stuff, you can easily tackle some things that you get for the car. The only thing about the Mustang that I didn't really like, it wasn't really a performance thing, was the sound of the car. It was kind of quiet. I mean, when you're driving it, you can tell that it's a V8 and it has a little bit of a oomph to it, but it's really not enough. When you buy a muscle car, they're known to be loud. You want it to be loud. So that was one of the first things we did to her car, was to get a nice Corsa Extreme catback on there. So the Mustang is a very easy car to work on if you know your stuff, but if you don't, there's some tasks that you could do that's not so hard. There's so many parts available for this car that you can get. It's a very popular car, and there's so many websites that you can go to buy parts for it. Doing oil changes is fairly easy on the car too. If you want to check out that, we also did another video on that as well. Click the link below, and you can see us doing a nice oil change on the car.
So as this is currently my only car, I do want it to be reliable, and I definitely want to do a little more work to the engine. So I'm thinking of a cool air intake, a tune, maybe some other things, but we are going to film every single thing that we do to my Mustang for you guys. So definitely subscribe so you can stay tuned and catch all those videos and not miss anything, because they're gonna be fun.
Yeah, and we also have a mystery project car coming very soon. So
yes,
stay tuned to that. We'll bring you guys along with us. Hopefully you like and enjoy it. So yeah, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And you'll see a lot more coming.
Thanks, guys.